Well, we have some cool news out of Kennywood where they just announced Steel Curtain. This is an S&S coaster coming to Kennywood in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania. Thank you for joining me in this analysis, as today we'll be talking about Steel Curtain coming to Kennywood. We'll be talking about the stats, ride experience, theme, the name, and a lot of other things. We'll also be talking about trains, height restriction, and stuff like that. So first up, let's talk about the stats for Steel Curtain. It'll be manufactured by S&S Worldwide. It'll have a height of 220 feet tall. It's going to Kennywood in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania. It'll also be there's for the speed. There's like a to be determined on like the speed. And when I think of any coaster that's like over 200 feet tall, the speed is probably definitely going to be like 70 miles per hour. That's usually happens when it's like 220 feet. And it'll also break the record of the most inversions out of any other coaster in America. I mean, most inversions in America has like 7, and that's like on multiple coasters. It'll also be having the world's tallest inversion at 220 feet, beating Full Throttle at Six Flags Magic Mountain. So, I mean, yeah, this coaster really looks cool. People might have a debate of like which one's better with this or Phantom's Revenge. This one really looks cool though. So now let's talk about the name and the theming. It is themed to the football team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a football team, and I don't know. People are saying that the theme is pretty biased, due to like visiting teams, like people that are from away that likes other football teams. So it could possibly be biased to it. I mean, I'm a New England Patriot fan, and I'm from New England, so I would definitely like check this coaster out, even though it's like in the Steelers area. They're also going to be adding a new name to it, Steeler County, and it'll also have a name, Steel Curtain. It'll have multiple games too, like football games. It'll be in a Steel County section of the park. And then the name, when I think of the name, it's going to be like, when it's the name, I think of like Steel Curtain. When I think of Steel Curtain, it's like curtains, so the name is like really crappy. So first up, I want to talk about ride experience. So first up, you go through the drop. This one's a really, first up, height. That one's a really cool inversion. So after the height, you get sent to a drop, and then here's the really cool, this is like a corkscrew into a dive loop. So I haven't seen that inversion around, and I believe that's like how you call it. I'm not sure. Next up, you got an S-bend. Next up, I believe this is a banana roll or banana loop. I'm not sure how to I don't know. Next up, you got a really small ejector airtime hill. Speaking of like Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point, which Steel Vengeance has some amazing airtime. If you love that element on Steel Vengeance, you'll definitely love this one then. Next up, you got, no, I think this one might be the banana roll right here. Maybe 2 banana rolls. I'm not sure, but yeah. So next up, you got a pop of airtime. This ride goes through a lake, so yeah. Next up, you got a dive loop. And then this is I believe, I'm not sure, but I think this might be a splashdown element. Like, if you think of splashdown elements, this is like, if you love splashdown you think of like Diamondback at Kings Island, which has a splashdown element. So, I mean, this coaster would definitely have a good splashdown element. Next up, you got a 0G stall, speaking of Wicked Cyclone at Six Flags New England. Next up, you got double up into a inversion to a curve, so that's speaking of Steel Vengeance right there. Next up, you got a cutback, speaking of like Twisted Timbers at King's Dominion. And then that's pretty much it. Now, there's some like things. The name is like really bad. I want to like announce it now, but the name is like really bad, kind of. Steel Curtain. When you think of curtains, it's like, curtains like on a window. So I mean, but it's gonna be a really nice theme. Obviously the most bad theme about it is gonna be the curtain and stuff like that. And people are also gonna have like a debate of like which coaster is better between this and Phantom too. So People might say Steel Curtain's better than Phantom. People say Phantom's better than Steel Curtain. You have to ride in 2019. So, I mean, this coaster really looks cool. It'll have a height restriction of 48 inches tall. Kennywood might possibly change that to 52 inches, but still to be determined, or 54. Trains is going to be like 2 row. I think it's going to have 20 riders per train. And I hope it has a lap bar. I'm expecting it to be a lap bar. I hope it's not shoulder harness restraints. So that's going to be it for this review, for this analysis of Steel Curtain new for 2019 coaster coming to Kennywood. Thank you guys for tuning. What are your thoughts on this? Post them in the comment section below. Stay tuned for more Coaster Box videos. They'll be coming out shortly, and I'll catch you guys later.